tells the story of a terrible war and terrible depravity without judgment, in a sense. And that I think Brian, in the way that Brian has made the film, he's made every effort to make it seem easy for people, or the judgments that people make between, which way you're going to jump. It's a very fine line, because these are very ordinary people trying to protect their lives and, feed their children, and so often in film, it's the evil Nazis, and of course it is evil. It's a terrible, terrible period in our history, but the people who supported it and who gave it its life and its breath were ordinary people like you and me. We're in the Second World War, in a very poor part of an ordinary town in Germany, with people who are sort of struggling to come to terms with what's happening in their country, and that people who have joined the Nazi Party are working and thriving, and the Jews are beginning to be taken away, and everybody is in that place of not knowing what's happening, what's going on, and within that, this young girl comes to live with a family, and it's sort of seen through her eyes. Her father was a communist and has obviously been taken or been disappeared, and her mother has given her away to try and save her, really. But she has had very little education. She can't read, and she is immediately picked on and teased and ridiculed for that. But she begins a process with her stepfather, Hans, who is Geoffrey Rush, who is a beautiful, gentle, kind, twinkly soul, and he begins to teach her to read. When Liesl first encounters her, she's really evil stepmother, bad stepmother, nasty, she's cruel, she's very, very harsh with her, very stern with her, seems to be very stern with other children, swearing and calling people names, and not the sort of person you'd want to turn up in a foster home to at all. But over a period of time, particularly after Max has arrived, who is the young Jewish boy who they hide in the basement, you begin to see another side of her character. She's naturally instinctive and naturally emotional without forcing anything in front of the camera, but you don't have to translate things down to her level at all. And she is consistent, take after take after take. She will work all day at an incredibly intense level and you forget how young she is. I mean, she turned 13 during the film. I remember in the read-through, when we heard the whole story out loud, this overwhelming sense of that this was in some way a love letter to the power of story